Heading into 2025, hybrids are all the rage, and why wouldn't they be? They've become affordable, they're economical, and really they are a great value. It's hard to deny what hybrids are giving you right now at around $40,000. One brand that is very proactive with the electrification era in the automotive industry is Ford. They have the Ford Mustang Mach-E, which is the full EV product, the F-150, but more specifically for the Escape, this is a very important model in the lineup. It has 4 different powertrains. You have the 1.5, you have the 2-liter, you also have the hybrid powertrain, and a plug-in hybrid. Today we'll be taking a look at the ST Line Select with the hybrid powertrain, and we're going to discover what this vehicle is offering right now. There's some new competitors in this segment, but also some old-time foes, such as the Honda CR-V hybrid and Toyota RAV4 hybrid. And today we're going to find out if the Ford Escape is competitive, but also a great choice in this market. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Acton Ford in Acton, Massachusetts for letting me come down here to check out the Ford Escape Hybrid. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Ford inventory. So as always, let's begin with pricing. For 2025 with the ST Line Select, you're looking at a starting cost at just over $34,000, which really isn't too bad for a hybrid, but also for a compact crossover in general for a mid-tier trim. Now, I have been noticing all the comments in my recent videos lately saying, Mike, these aren't the numbers that we're looking for. What is the pricing for the model you're actually featuring today? Well, our ST Line Select comes in at right around $40,000. There is some optional packages equipped on our model today that we will dive into, we'll talk about later on in this video. But even at $40,000, it is very competitive with the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4 hybrids. And I think a lot of you are going to be surprised with what you have here with the Escape for 2025. Now, one thing I will say though is that for this generation, it is kind of getting up there in age. There has been a facelift throughout the last few years that makes this vehicle look a bit more cutting edge and mainstream. I will say though that with the Escape, it does look somewhat car-like, even though you have the cladding around the wheel arches and side profile. It's not going to be as aggressive or as off-road tuned as what you're going to find from some competitors. That's mostly because you have the Ford Bronco Sport in the lineup doing all of that work. But up front, you are going to receive full LED headlights and LED turn signal indicators. But better yet, by going with the Select trim, you also receive LED fog lights for better visibility at night or in adverse weather conditions. Now, also making up this model is that you will have some contrasting accents. You have a nice chrome strip outlining the top portion of the front grille, and then also brushed aluminum accents for the lower portion of the front bumper. A very nice touch here for a model at this price point. You're going to notice the honeycomb mesh grille, again, gives this vehicle a sportier look at around $34,000 to start. Then taking a look at the side profile, our model is sitting on the optional 19-inch alloy wheels, which gives this model a more aggressive look, and I think this would be my choice if I was buying an ST Line Select. 18s do come standard, and we are going to find out later on in this video if the larger tire size does play a role in the ride quality for this vehicle. Now, you are going to have body color folding side mirrors, but no turn signal indicators, which is a bit of a surprise for a mid-tier trim such as this. However, you do get blind spot detection for added safety. Then as you make your way around to the back, one nice little touch here that I wasn't expecting for a hybrid trim is the dual exhaust outlets. A lot of hybrids, they tend to tuck the exhaust outlets beneath the bumper for a cleaner appearance, but at least we have that here for the Escape. Obviously, with the ST line, you're going to want to have that for the exterior of this model. Now, you are going to have aggressive cladding for that rear bumper, which is typical for a crossover in this market. You are going to receive full LED taillights, which gives this vehicle more of an upscale and classier appearance, and that will go hand in hand with the Escape badge written out on the liftgate. We're seeing a lot more of that right now in the automotive industry. But more importantly, this will be something to take note of when we check out the interior and also the rear cargo area, is that with the Escape, you do have that lower roof line, and it does look somewhat hatchback-like, it does look somewhat car-like, and that is going to be rather different compared to a RAV4 or a CR-V, and we're going to find out if that plays a role with the interior spacing and overall practicality. Taking a quick peek under the hood for the 2025 Ford Escape ST Line Select Hybrid, you are going to receive a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine and 2 electric motors to produce a total of 192 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque. Obviously, with this being a hybrid, it is paired with an eCVT. If you are someone looking for a more fun and engaging experience, go with the 2-liter turbo, although the name of the game here with this powertrain is fuel efficiency, which comes in at 42 miles per gallon in the city and 36 miles per gallon on the highway. So if you're looking for an economical choice that's also going to stretch your dollar just a bit more in regards to fueling up at the pump, this would be the best choice to go with out of the Ford Escape right now for 2025. Also, with this being the hybrid, you do get all-wheel drive coming standard, so that way you can take on those winter road conditions when you're going up to the mountains to ski and snowboard this upcoming winter. Hopping inside the ST line Select we had today, we have one important package which sets a tone for the review that we're doing right now, but also for this model. If you are someone looking for an economical choice, but also a vehicle that feels somewhat futuristic and upscale, you're going to want to go with the $3,700 Tech 2 package, which adds on to what you have with the Tech 1 at around $1,000, and also throws in a memory package for the driver's side and outside mirror positioning. Now, I will say this package isn't a must-have or go-to because of its pricing. If you're someone looking for an affordable choice with that hybrid powertrain, I would say steer clear of this package. But for those of you with lavish tastes and also demand a lot of creature comforts and amenities, definitely go with this package. So let's first start off with these seats. We have power adjustable heated sport cloth seats with vinyl upholstery for both the driver and passenger. Compared to the Active, these seats are more aggressively bolstered, they're firmer, and also will keep you in place when you are driving on some winding back roads or you're just having some fun on your weekday commutes. This would be the way to go if you are someone looking for a sportier experience. On top of that, the driver's side will have 3-position memory for added convenience, and then, as I talked about before, the memory outside mirror positioning. Now, with the ST line, though, you also receive a sportier interior layout with a flat bottom steering wheel, which is heated for our model, with aggressive 10-2 and firm 9-3 grips. Now, I am sad to see that we don't have paddle shifters to rotate the gears ourselves. However, we do have the eCVT, so that makes sense with the hybrid powertrain. Also, you will notice the carbon fiber inlay on the dashboard, a very nice touch. With the Tech 2 package, you are going to receive the 12.3-inch full digital gauge cluster, which will give you more of a futuristic interior to the Escape, and this will match up very well with that 13.2-inch touchscreen for the Sync 4 user interface, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now, on the right side of the steering wheel will be buttons that will help you scroll through a variety of information, such as My View, Trip Energy, status information, vehicle maintenance, audio, navigation, phone, and settings. We're not going to go too in depth on this since I have gone over the full digital gauge cluster numerous times on this channel. Now, unfortunately, though, with the ST line Select, you don't have a head-up display. I would love to see that, especially with the Tech 2 package. But then again, if we're now throwing in a head-up display, now you're probably spending close to $42,000 to $43,000. So that kind of makes sense here for Ford, especially for a mid-tier trim with the Select. Then taking a look at your infotainment system, this is the 13.2-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. By going with the Tech 2 package, you also receive a 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which will amplify the audio of your favorite music. Also, with the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you will receive a wireless phone charging pad as well, which is very nice. Now, with this screen, though, compared to what you had a few years ago, everything is now going to be placed on the head unit, such as your dual zone climate control, heated front seats, and heated steering wheel. We're seeing a lot more of this now in the automotive industry, and I have to say, what Ford is giving you here with the Sync 4 system, I think it's very easy to use. It will take some time to get used to. You have to get used to the button layouts and the menu layouts, but it is, I think, better to use than the old Sync 3 system. The resolution and quality is there, very competitive, what you have with the Android-based software that's now going to be making its way into Honda products, but also what you have with Toyota right now. Toyota doesn't really have the most intuitive information displays, if I'm going to be brutally honest, because you don't have a home screen, and it is going to be more tablet-like. Whereas with the Sync 4 system, this is very traditional to what you have experienced in the past from Ford. Also, by going with the Tech 2 package, you are going to receive a 360-degree top view camera, giving you much more visibility when you are on city streets or in a tight garage. On top of that, with your rear backup camera with trajectory, you also have a 180-degree view as well, giving you much more visibility when you are backing out of a spot at a mall. Beneath the head unit, you are going to find a single row of buttons for your camera systems, park assist features, your front window defroster, and then your drive mode selector. Also from here, you will find a physical dial for your volume knob Nice touch. Beneath that, you will find a USB-C and USB-A outlet to go along with a 12-volt outlet and a wireless phone charging pad. For the center console itself, you'll still have that dial here for your gear selector. We're seeing a lot of that right now in the Ford lineup. That'll be next to your 2 cup holders. You will find electronic parking brake and auto vehicle hold. Then for the center storage compartment, you have plenty of room for smaller items such as a couple smartphones, wallets, or other tech gadgets. Now, not equipped on our model, which is a bit of a surprise, but I'm not too disappointed, is that you will have a panoramic vista moonroof, which will bring in a lot of natural light to the interior. Then for passengers in the back for the Escape, they're greeted by a whopping 40.7 inches of legroom, which is very competitive with the Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, Volkswagen Tiguan, and Hyundai Tucson. And you're probably wondering, how is Ford able to accomplish all of this out of a small vehicle? Because dimensions-wise, this would be very much on par with a Mazda CX-5, and the CX-5 isn't the most practical in this segment. Well, Ford has learned quite a bit by selling MPVs over in Europe. You're probably not too familiar with that segment. We don't get a lot of those vehicles here in the US, at least in the last 20 years. And they're vehicles that are designed for European roads and European lifestyles, where they are going to be rather spacious and family friendly and suitable for those smaller streets over in Europe. And they've done that here with the Escape. The Escape has always been a Euro crossover. You can see that with the design. It's a very global vehicle. Ford can sell this crossover anywhere across the globe, and I see why. But in regards to the second row seating area, the reason why it is so spacious is because Ford gave these seats the ability to slide on rails, both forwards and backwards, maximizing legroom for passengers in the second row, but also when these second row seats aren't in use, it maximizes the cargo capacity. So what you have here is a vehicle that is going to be exceptionally practical, but not going to be the size of that Tiguan or of that Hyundai Tucson. So it's going to have a car-like driving demeanor. It is going to feel rather communicative when you are driving on city streets or in the suburbs, but it's still going to give you the interior space that you're looking for out of a vehicle at around $40,000. Now, like I said, though, we don't have that panoramic vista moonroof, so that will help out with headroom. I don't think passengers in the back around a height of 6 feet tall will be hitting their head on the headliner. That is all you can ask for out of a vehicle of this size. Now, for the ST Line Select, we don't have heated outboard seats. However, we do have 2 center-mounted air vents to go along with 2 USB-C inputs. No climate control back here. However, you do receive a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Then making our way around to the back one more time, take a look at the rear cargo area. By going with the ST Line Select, you are going to receive a power liftgate. Now, that is optional for the active and base ST line, so keep all of that in mind if you want some of those creature comforts and amenities coming standard for your next Escape. And inside, behind the second row of seats, you're looking at right around 37.5 cubic feet of room, which is very much on par with the Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, and Volkswagen Tiguan. Dimensions-wise, the Escape is a marvel because with the lower roof line, with the sportier design, and also the fact that it's not boxy or large like most of its competitors, and the fact you still have this interior space, that does go a long way. Also back here, you will have some compartments for some smaller items such as a couple water bottles, car detail equipment, or maybe even a first aid kit. But more important than practicality and interior dimensions might be the fact that beneath the floor mat, you are going to find a spare tire. So if you encounter a flat on your road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. The Honda CR-V Hybrid doesn't give you that at all, and that's holding back a lot of customers for that model. Then with the second row seats folded, you're looking at right around 65.5 cubic feet of room, falling right in line with most of its competitors in this segment. So if you are looking for a vehicle that is economical and practical, the Escape should be on your list of considerations. So we've experienced quite a few hybrids this year on the channel, more specifically in this market recently with the CR-V and new Mazda CX-50 hybrid. One thing I have to say here with Ford's hybrid system is that, at least in normal mode, the harmony between the gas motor and electric motors is pretty good. It's very solid in this segment where it does feel rather smooth in suburban driving and obviously in the city. And that is what's most important. These vehicles are not supposed to be performance driven or performance focused. And you can't walk into these vehicles with that expectation. If you're someone who does want to have an exhilarating driving experience and have a lot of fun being behind the wheel of a practical crossover, you gotta go with that 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Although I do like the 1.5-liter Turbo 3. I think that is a solid engine for a base trim for the Escape. But with this 2.5, it is really smooth, and the ECVT does mimic the gear shifts quite nicely. We will test out sport mode though, and I think that my expectations, or rather my perceptions towards this powertrain, might change in that setting. But in normal mode, when you are just cruising around responsibly, this engine is really nice and buttery smooth. Now, one thing I will say though with the 19-inch wheels is that they do create a bit more road noise, so if you're someone who doesn't care about the exterior appearance of your Escape, stick with the 18s. They also affect seat positioning as well, which I'm noticing right now, where I do feel as though I'm sitting a bit higher up behind the wheel of the Escape. Give me a lot of vision here to work with, and that is one thing that the Escape does very well, is giving you a lot of visibility up front. So you are going to notice a somewhat thin A-pillar, so you won't have any issues when you are approaching intersections or red lights. Then taking a look at your side mirrors, they are decently sized. I can see what's in the lane next to me. Also, more importantly, I have blind spot detection here. And then looking out back with the hatchback-like rear fascia, I can see what's directly behind me. So a lot of visibility being behind the wheel, but I am thoroughly impressed here with the seat positioning, because I do feel like I'm in a traditional crossover or SUV. Now, suspension-wise, it does go over the bumps rather well. It's not too firm or stiff, so I think a lot of you walking into the Escape are going to find that this vehicle is rather feeling-friendly and suitable for daily driving purposes. Got to return to the steering wheel. It feels really nice in the hands, and then, of course, the flat-bottom steering wheel. I really do wish Ford would give us an Escape ST. So you had the Explorer ST, but could you imagine if they gave us like a 300 horsepower Escape with a sports tune suspension? That would be really cool. I think that would go a long way in this market, because there really isn't many vehicles in this segment that are enjoyable and also affordable with that fun factor. In regards to handling, it does feel rather agile and somewhat car-like. That is one of the appeals for the Escape. It is similar to the Mazda CX-5, although I think the CX-5 has a more weighted steering. Comparing this to the CR-V hybrid or the Mazda CX-50 hybrid I recently featured, this hybrid system is better than what you're going to find in that CX-50. The CX-50 might be a bit more luxurious and upscale, but Toyota's older hybrid software systems just really aren't that good. They're not the most enjoyable or refined. The 5th gen software, though, Toyota might be the best in regards to hybrid systems, but for their older hybrids, I think the Escape is most certainly on par with what Toyota's offering. Also for the Honda CR-V hybrid, yes, by going with the hybrid trim and the hybrid powertrain for the CR-V, it's going to be more enjoyable, but I still don't think it's the most agile or athletic in its segment. Even though it does have some sportier attributes and qualities and aesthetics, it's still going to be all about that practicality and comfort. With the Escape, though, you're getting the handling that you're going to find in, say, an active or a non-hybrid trim for this model, but you're also getting the fuel efficiency benefits out of it. So I think it's a really good mix here. And while in the past I would say you got to go with the 2-liter turbo, I think if you are someone looking to stretch your dollar just a bit more, you're someone who is focused on that fuel economy, you don't want to have a vehicle that you're constantly going to the pump, this is the way to go. I also think that 192 horsepower is more than adequate for a vehicle in this market. Obviously, it's not going to be a barnstormer at all, but I think with the ECVT giving you some mimicked gear shifts here, making this vehicle feel rather smooth, it might actually feel a bit quicker than what is shown on paper. So keep all that in mind. Again, you're looking at a vehicle that's supposed to be for its practicality and efficiency and not its aggressive driving dynamics or nature. Now, speaking of sporty and aggressive nature, let's place the Escape in sport mode and see what that does to the driving experience. What I do notice immediately is that throttle response is far more active and engaging. Also, the engine perks up quite a bit. Now, let's get an acceleration here. Not bad. Not bad at all. I was expecting the ECVT to drone a bit there, and there to be some serious lag, but not at all. See, I had driven the Escape hybrid a few years ago, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the electric motors working with the gas motor. But this time, it feels really nice. And comparing this to that CX-50 again, because that's the most recent hybrid crossover I've driven, this is far smoother. I think this is a better engine than what's placed in that crossover. There's a sense of refinement, there's a sense of smoothness and quality. This drives better than I had remembered. And I don't know if that was 2 or 3 years ago, but Ford is definitely retooling their hybrid systems here. This feels like what I've experienced from competitors. One more time. Peppy, very peppy. Yeah, this ECVT is smooth. So all in all, after this quick test drive for the 2025 Ford Escape Hybrid, this is a solid daily driver and an economical daily driver at that. A lot of hybrid crossovers, I don't want to say they feel unrefined, because we've come a long way almost 5 years into this new decade. But the harmony between the gas motor and electric motors is far better than where we were just a few years ago. And the fact that the transition between the gas motor and electric motors is seamless and you barely notice it is what's going to make this crossover dailyable and worth owning. Because it can feel clunky at times with hybrid systems, and they're not that all enjoyable or comfortable to drive, especially if you're in stop and go traffic or you get on throttle. That's where it becomes a bit repetitive. But being behind the wheel for about 30 minutes or so with this vehicle, I actually really like what it's offering here in regards to performance. It's relatively quick and spry. The handling is snappy and athletic. Now obviously, in regards to engagement, that's where it might be lacking in that department, but out of a crossover that is supposed to be family friendly, practical, and sensible, I think it checks off all the boxes. And you also got to remember too is that while there are a lot of vehicles now in this segment, from Honda, from Toyota, now from Mazda, Subaru isn't giving you this quite yet. And I have a feeling that if Subaru is working in tandem with Toyota, that their earlier hybrid systems are not going to feel this smooth. So if you're looking at buying a crossover right now, heading into 2025, you want something that is economical, that is affordable, like I said before, maybe pass up on the Tech 2 package, this is going to be a great choice, especially just over $35,000. The hybrid motor feels really nice, and if you do live in the suburbs, you're going to have a crossover that is going to be responsive. That's really all you could ask for out of a vehicle like this. So I think definitely take a look at one for sure. I think Ford has definitely come a long way with their electrification in the lineup, whether it is plug-in hybrids or hybrids. So this is definitely going to be a solid choice for sure. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review for the 2025 Ford Escape Hybrid. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time.